Hello and welcome. You may be wondering how you got here. You may be questioning your choice of podcast. In this series, you will hear a variety of stories that may or may not be fact or fiction. Welcome to the Simdicate Files. Welcome everybody back to another podcast with the Simdicate, and today, as always, I'm here with DeuceMS.
Hey.
Ayo Mike 83.
Hello everyone.
Phone 13.
Who, me?
And myself, GaminGargoyle. Thank you for being here with us. And today, the format is an open table discussion on streaming. So, first off, basically, we will be going through what it is, how we first started off in the streaming world. I think that, everybody has different reasons for it in that, and I want to know what everybody's thoughts is on that. So how about we start off with Bone on this one?
Interesting start.
I started off with basically my son. He was a streamer before me, and he's always saw me, and he's like, hey, Dad, you already play the games. Why don't you, become a streamer? And we talked about it for a year. And then I'm like, all right, fine, I'll finally do it. He set me all up. And it's like, here you go. And I'm like, okay, well, how do I do this type of thing? And, it was a learning as you go type of experience. But no, that's how I pretty much started.
So you had started because of family members?
Correct.
Cool. So how did you get started into it, Mike?
Well, honestly, I was bored one day, so I set up a Twitch account. And this is like in late 2017, early 2018. And I started streaming, just something to pass the time. And then when I became an affiliate, I was like, ooh, I can make a little bit of side money on this. And then I gave up for a while and started back, and then I was discovered by this great community, and here I am today.
Okay, Deuce, how'd you get started in it?
Well, see, back in 2013, back years ago, centuries, eons even, a friend of mine, no, seriously, Big Pace is a great friend of mine, been around the Twitch community forever, was with it with Justin TV, came into Twitch, and then they ran DayZ servers and whatnot. And I told him I wanted to make content. And he said, then make content. And I went, well, what if it's not good? What do I need to do? And he said, make content. So that's kind of how I got started. Honestly, I was playing Trials. And from last week's podcast, you all know that Trials is one of my favorite games of all time. So I was playing Trials. I was doing speedruns, or I started doing speedruns. And I mean, you basically have to stream them because, you have to prove that you did it in real time. So I was streaming the speedruns, and that's kind of how I got started in it. And then I kind of quit for a while. Then I was without my computer for a year. And then I came back and just started making YouTube content. And then I started dual streaming again on Twitch and YouTube and Mixer and the whole nine, and branched out, split my games off to Twitch and YouTube differently. After you take affiliate status, of course, you can't dual stream if you're a partner or if you're affiliate, because Twitch TOS. So I split my streams off. Let's make a different content on both platforms, and here I am. Now you're all stuck with me.
So that leaves me. Background then would be first started off with a group called IDGAF. You can look it up online to get that full version of it. It's a meme for I don't give a fledge, and basically it was a Dukes of Hazzard skit scenes, and we had a lot of fun doing stuff like that. Then YouTube came down on copyright striking. The general lead Dixie horn is copyrighted, so for anybody who's aspiring out there, don't do it. It's bad, but it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun indeed. So I then, being severely whiplashed as a new, person on YouTube, I left. I went over, tried different other platforms and things like that, and had some learning experiences along the way. And so down to the theme of the today's video is, how do you get started? So knowing with your backstories, now, how But what is your advice to other people about getting started into this, and the reasons why you think they should, why they should be doing this? I'm gonna choose Mike on this one. You get to start. What's your first set of advice that you'd like to give people who are just starting off?
First set of advice is if you're getting into gaming, don't.
That's great advice, Mike. I was thinking the same thing.
Dime a dozen, but we all have our reasons why. Yeah.
You have to enjoy what you do. I mean, play games that you like. Don't try to play the games that are flooded out there by huge creators, because if you're wanting to be discovered, that is not the way to do it. I mean, I started with indie games, and I mean, I'm still pretty much playing indie games. A few big titles here and there, like Cyberpunk and I guess Valheim could be considered a big title. But, those were flooded by the bigger creators in the beginning, and it's hard to get traction with something like that. So, I mean, you just take it slow. You got to fight it tooth to nail. You got to keep pushing no matter what. Don't give up. Don't be sad if you've only got one viewer or no viewers. A lot of us have gone through that where we're streaming or showing our content to nobody for the longest time. I mean, you got to keep fighting. So I think that's about all I can say.
Yeah, perseverance of what are you trying to accomplish is, my biggest thing. Be yourself, like you say, enjoy the games that you play, and start to think about some of the technical things that you can help to, show the viewer, the person who's investing their time into you, a good product overall in the end. Because for me, it's, I'm trying to do the best that I can, and by doing that, I have to look at the technical side of things. So, Bone, what is your preference for the things, content creation or streaming? As I know that you don't do too much content creation. I'm mostly a streamer, but I've done both in this world, and I enjoy doing both. But when time is there, I would prefer the streaming. What would you think from a technical aspect is important to think about what you're going to be presenting to the public?
Well, on a technical aspect, schedule. You don't have to be daily, but you have to be routine. You have to be in a pattern to where people know that you're going to be available on these days at these times. And to go off on what Mike said too, pick your games very wisely. Pick games that that you love. It's okay to go with the new games, because everyone does a new game. I mean, when a game comes out, it's obviously new and we don't know anything about it. But like, I'm not going to be playing a game that is zombie killers because, well, I don't do that. So, I'm going to pick something that I know that I think I'm going to enjoy. Now, do I always enjoy it? No. But, and again, with what you said and what Mike said, this is where you be yourself. If you don't like something, don't be afraid to say that you don't like it. It's okay. There's no one, the FBI is not going to be knocking on your door. Hey, you can't say that anymore. They're not going to do that. But if you don't like something, make sure that you have the backing to say why you don't like it. Is it because of the functions, the gameplay, story, graphics? There's many different things that, everyone can say why they don't enjoy something. And as far as the schedule, like I said, make sure you are available. And if you are not going to be available, this is where social media can come into play. And you tell people, hey, sorry, something came up. I'm not going to be available today. And as long as they know up front, they'll be like, oh, okay. Or somebody who doesn't know that you're a streamer is like, what is he talking about? Oh, I'm going to go check him out. Go find out what what was he planning on doing today, type of thing. And the other thing is, if you're on a camera, look the part. And when I say look the part, it's look like you're having fun, look like you're enjoying yourself. Don't be the streamer who is, just quiet, not saying anything. Looks lost, looks clueless, but again, be yourself with it. You don't have to be fake, but if you don't show enjoyment, if you have a camera, well, it doesn't matter what you say, because the first thing that people are going to, do is they're going to see you before they hear you, type of thing. And I'll let Deuce talk about the hearing part of it, because I know that's up his forte, and I'll let him talk about that. But
exactly, sound technicals, sound and
but
audio.
You know what's funny about that though is something I've noticed in the last 4 years is there are people out there with millions of subscribers, or 100,000 subscribers, or 10,000 subscribers, or 20,000, and they have crap audio, man.
yes, they do.
They have really terrible. It all sounds like this. Or it sounds like this. It's really screechy. It's like, oh my God, man! Like, why? How do you have this many people watching you? But at the same time, you want to do the best you can, right? And sometimes that's the best you can do, and people love you because of your content. Maybe not so much your audio. Me, it's hard for me to listen to videos like that. Honestly, like if it's not decent quality audio, it's like, man, that's hard to listen to. That's the reason for me personally, I get so upset when my audio's off, and I just switch to a new setup. And it's like everything goes wrong every stream right now. So it's like, man, I hate this. I hate the way this works. But familiarize yourself with your hardware. Familiarize yourself with your software. And if you're going to make content, like they said, you have to do what you enjoy. Bone, Mike, and Gargle all had perfect points on all of that. And I will say this, I'm going to elaborate a little bit on what Bone said about looking the part if you're on camera, and mainly because I want to bleed off of the audio part, right? If you don't have a camera, your audio needs to be on point. It has to be good. Or you have to be really likable, because there are people out there with crap audio and people love them. So not knocking anybody, because I mean, I've been very fortunate for the audio stuff that I have. As minor as it may be, I don't have like a full outboard setup or anything, but if I could, I would have a full blown, studio, patch cables everywhere, like the whole nine. I would have a full blown studio if I could. I can't afford it, so I don't. Right? So you may be able to afford a $60 USB mic. Make it work for you. Turn your gain down. Turn your gain down and start there. Get close to your microphone. Don't put a whole lot of air in there. It doesn't matter if you're on camera and the mic is in your face. People don't care. Joe Rogan is one of the biggest podcasters out there. His mic is right in his face. His guest, the mic's right in their face. People don't care. That's part of the set, because you have to be heard and people want to hear it. So don't be afraid if you're on camera to have your mic in your face, to have good audio, because that's what you want. But also, like Bone said, look the part, right? Not just being who you're representing, which if you're representing yourself, that's great. Be yourself, but try to be your positive self on stream. If you're playing a character, play that character. And I think we all know the first person you could go to somebody that does that and has done it well for 4 years, 5 years now, is Dr. Disrespect. He built a character. He plays the character. Guy is a brilliant mastermind of manipulating the algorithms for content creation, because his character is noticeable by most people in the world that have ever pulled up YouTube. I mean, honestly, like, he looks the part. You may have never watched one of his streams, but if somebody says Dr. Disrespect, you go, oh, I think I've heard that name. I mean, it's just one of those things. You have to balance both. And I would also say to people, don't worry about what games other people are playing. Play what you want to play, if that's what you want to do. If you want to be a big content creator, heavy edits, action, no matter what you're playing. It could be Medieval's Dynasty, and I could edit those to where it's only the important parts, right? I could just record videos and edit the important parts. That's it. Skip all the stuff in between. Don't show anything boring. Nothing like that. Show only the important stuff. I mean, that's pretty much it for me. And you have to realize too that for all of us, I'm going to say this for all of us, that we're all coming from a point of less than 10,000 subscribers. So, these guys don't have any subscribers. They don't know what they're talking about. That doesn't fly here. And here's why. Because we're all old enough to know and understand the concept of what we're doing. We're not making content for the 10-year-old armies out there, right? We're making content that we enjoy doing and that our communities like and that other people just haven't found us yet will like when they do. So, I mean, you could say whatever you want to about our numbers, whatever you want to say, but this is coming from a perspective of people that are on the grind, that haven't made it and forgotten what it felt like to be here, right? Somebody that's got 3 million, 5 million, 10 million, 100 million subscribers on YouTube will tell you they remember what it feels like. They remember that they think they know what it felt like. They don't remember how it feels to actually be in the grind. That's just my opinion. I mean, I may be wrong about that, but in the grind is different than having made it and 2 or 3 years later going, oh, yeah, I remember what that feels like. I mean, you might think you do, but you don't. You forget over time. I forgot what it felt like to hit my 1,000 subscriber mark. You know what I mean? Like, it was a big day, but I don't remember the actual feeling of it. You know, I mean, it's just you have to look at it from our standpoint where we're in the middle of the grind and something we say might be useful. You don't have to take it all, but something might be useful. That's it. Y'all could have interrupted me and jumped in any time.
No, I liked it.
No, exactly. You know, and it brought up a few more points in my head here is Mike, burnout, difference between live streaming and content creation. You know, what do you think is more work and what you need to more educate yourself into for softwares?
Well, definitely the more work goes into content creation because you have to, for recording the video is easy. So it's when you port it into your editing software where it starts to become the head scratcher. Like, what can I use from this that I've think will make a good video that will keep attention? I mean, that's my biggest struggle every day.
So the scripting in that, so do you think it's easier as a live streamer to, pick up the game, every so often, or even better yet, should people feel that they should be stuck to one game, or do you think that they should have, or do you think that's, dependent on them on whether or not they should play a variety of games on the channel?
I mean, if you want to play a variety, give it a go. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Just, you got to be cautious. Talking about the burnout, you get too much on your plate, you get burnt out. Then you don't want to do it. Then you go dark.
Can I interject there? I just want to ask Mike a question here. Do you think that, Bone, this is for you too, because you particularly in our group do not stick to a genre or subgenre. So you are a true variety content creator. And I love that because you play whatever you want to. It doesn't matter if it fits the genre of games. But for the YouTube algorithm, right, we know that typically sticking to a genre does better because people watch this content, they're more likely to come back and watch similar content, right? That's just the way it is, right? Exactly. But it doesn't always happen that way. It doesn't always happen that way. People like all kinds of different things. So do you two think that it's done more or less for you sticking to either a genre or subgenre or not at all? Because you both and all of us kind of have different ways that we pick games and stuff for our channels. So we like all the games we play. I don't want to put that out there and people think, oh, you're just playing it because people like it. So no, we don't play games we don't like. Like, I've played a few games I don't like and I've played it once. So I tried it. I didn't like it. Okay, cool. Move on to the next one. So, I mean, do you guys think that subgenres and sticking to genres is important? I thought about that while Gargoyle was asking a question. Good segue. So
you want to go first?
Me, yeah, I say for me, I think it's worked better for my channel because I've done it with one video here of one game, and a couple days later, here's a different video of another game. For me, what works, and this is going to be different for everybody. Bone's a great example of that. Sticking with one genre for me works better than jumping around, because that's what they've come to expect from my channel is one thing or one genre style.
Okay. I mean, that wasn't for the people listening. That was genuinely for me because I was curious to know your guys' thoughts on it.
Right.
So that's that wasn't a question for the viewers or to interrupt Gargoyle. That was just literally for my curiosity, because I'm genuinely curious about stuff like this between content creators. So,
well, my thought on this is I see games and I want to play them.
Yeah.
And so if I introduce our community to a different style of game and they like it, I've succeeded. If they don't like it, I've still succeeded because I've introduced them to a type of game, and I can tell them, "Hey, I'm going to be playing this game on this," and they say, "Okay, well then I won't show up on this stream. I'll come back in the next one," type of thing.
yeah.
But I also get more people, new people, introduced into our community by being a variety streamer. Now, not. I mean, sometimes, like everything, certain games do better than other games, and that's okay with that. But I think for the most part, I can be more true to myself by being more variety, because it's always new for me. So my excitement or my disappointment is always genuine. It's not made up. It's like, oh man, I'm going through the grind again, type of thing. I can't, I can't fake being happy. Ooh, I get to chop down trees again. Ooh, I get to, put them in the water. Ooh, I get, I get to do this.
I got a new outfit.
Yeah, I mean, because that part I don't care about.
Oh, look, I can make more shampoo.
Exactly.
Herbalist simulator.
But when I'm in a game, and especially like the story games, when I don't know the story, I love that. And I love trying to get my audience involved into it as much as I can possibly do it.
Yeah, for me, just genuinely curious. And I know Gargoyle is one of those too that sticks to kind of a subgenre and a genre in games.
Yep.
And Gargoyle, you've stepped out of there a few times with some games, and that I'm curious to know what you felt, and how it impacted your channel.
Well, there's been good times and bad times with my channels, and in the end, like Bone says, you have to be happy with what you play. For me, being, I can't play the super shooters and such like that very well, but
Right.
That's just my own physical limitations. However, I still have fun playing them, especially when there are enough, like say Cyberpunk, and well, once again, flooded market. So there was a lot of, the tips and tricks channels and such like that. They seem to gain a lot of good momentum and things, but that's not what I came into the live streaming for. In the end, I came into the live streaming to, have fun with the games that I like to play, that I'm capable of playing, and just vent, just to have a good time for it. And I think that's, why I've stuck with what I have, and when I branched out to what I have. It was a game that I wanted to play, and I thought that I would have a good time playing it with other people watching and participating with me, and sitting around a barbecue backyard without, or barbecue in the backyard without the barbecue or the backyard, that just type of openness with the community. And long hard road when we first start off, that's for sure. And for me, one of the hardest things was learning those hard bumps of your sound and audio, what's better for you, content creation or live stream. How do I present myself? What type of format? I think Bone, you kind of nailed it on the head there quite well earlier when, you were saying that, it's, you play what you enjoy and you win no matter what, because in the end, it was a game you enjoyed to play. So it doesn't matter what happened on YouTube. The numbers aren't important. In the end of the day, what is it that makes you happy, to me, is why I continue on. So it doesn't matter to me. I know that, I'm not so great at games like Borderlands and stuff like that, but I can quite enjoy playing some of these simulators, these life simulators, and turn around and enjoy Valheim. It's button mashing. It's a big name, Valhalla. There you go. There's a real example of button mashing. Yeah, it's just it's not hard on me physically. It's got lots of story and quests and stuff. But in the end, it was a series that was overpopulated in the space. It was flooded. There was tons and tons of other creators doing it because it was such a great game. So you got to be ready for the ups and downs in your numbers, and to look at them not as a day by day basis, but to really start to learn to look at them and say, okay, if I'm doing this channel to, make it grow and stuff like that, look into YouTube's algorithms, and find out what is it that you can do to play the systems, because, Ninja's there. But is that what's going to sustain you over the longest time? I think that would lean to, like what Mike's saying about burnout. So I tend not to. I don't go after that. I've made that choice to, not do tips and tricks and, be the first person to try to finish the game so I can move on to the next. I don't want the burnout. I want to enjoy what I'm doing.
Yeah. I mean, that's, I think that's all very, very fair and valid. Like, I mean, I think it's a great way to look at them, man. Honestly,
It is.
like, I kind of feel the same way. I mean, now I'll be the first to admit I'm not afraid to drop a video if it's not doing well on my channel. I'll drop it in a heartbeat. Like, if I enjoy it, I'll keep playing it. I just won't make content on it.
Mm-hmm.
I play Rocket League. I play Trials. I play them 3 times a week, probably both of them, but I don't make content on them because people don't want to watch it. I mean, if there's, if they don't want to watch it because it's different than the stuff that I play on my channel that I do enjoy, that's fine. I'm still going to play it though. You know what I mean? Like, I'm still going to take 30 minutes, hour and play each of them, like, I don't know. I still feel like you have to have those things that you enjoy in gaming, not just stuff that you enjoy making content on. You still have to have time for yourself. Just like anything else. So.
And I will say it is worth for newer creators with like less than a year experience in creating videos for YouTube or streams or whatever. Keep an eye on your content that you've put out, because sometimes there's a big influx in views on a certain video you've done, and it might be worth revisiting that game to get some more out. You might be able to pull more traction in.
So with your experience, would you say probably when you're looking at your YouTube studio, then to look at it more over a, short-term periods of like, say, 1 week, 2 weeks, or 28 days, that it automatically comes up? Do you think YouTube giving us that 28 days is a way for you to have a fair assessment of what videos that you should be, trying to maybe putting in for one extra one when you can?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, trying to look at a number, statistics are based over more information. The more information you receive, the better your idea of the statistics is. So use the tools that we're given, but don't try to stress yourself over it.
No.
Yeah. I mean, like, what is it that when you first started off that, you noticed today that you don't do when it comes to your statistics?
Look at them.
Just ignore them altogether.
Pretty much, yeah.
Just don't want anything to do with them.
I prefer to be surprised when I open it up to put the title in a video or something like that to see what's changed and what's doing well.
For me, to keep my sanity, I've learned that, okay, Friday mornings, I usually sit down with a hot chocolate, and first thing I do is I go through a wish list of all the games on Steam that are looking like it might be interest to me and to us as the Simdicate as a whole. Something that I know we can have a good time with and start everybody's Friday off night right. So going into it, then I go, okay, I'm going to look at my stats for how my last 7 days have been on just the games that I did. Okay, am I reaching, certain numbers? And if I'm not, why? Then I go back and I watch my own video just to see, why did one not do so well? Was my audio off? Was my video off? Was there bad buffering? I gave myself a report card. Do you guys do reviews of your stuff like that as well? Or are you more aloof about what you do? Like, I mean, I know Bone, I'm guessing you're probably the most aloof about it when it comes to that out of all of us.
Actually, no, I always play back my stuff.
No, that's something I didn't know. Honestly, I thought you were, just like, okay, yeah, I didn't think that you were, like that with like myself, like where it's like.
No, I always play back myself, and especially on a video that's done well, because I want to know why. What did I do different on that video? did I do something differently on that video, or was it just, you know, a happenstance that video, you know, performed better than another one, you know, in similar areas.
Right place, right time.
And if I did do something different, okay, I write a note on that, and I'm like, okay, well then let me add that to the next video and see if it does anything. If it does, okay, hey, we just learned something there. The audience wants this, you know, whatever I did, you know, whether it's the intro, whether it's you know, how I started. I mean, because most of the time, I mean, when I say I watch my videos, I watch the first 10 to 15 minutes of every video. That's all. After that, I turn it off too. Because if I can't captivate myself in the first 15 minutes, then I know that video is not going to do well. So, and that's
like if the game doesn't do something for you right away, is that what you're saying? Like if you
no,
like if
not,
you,
I
don't
don't
watching it back.
Yeah, I'm not even. Yeah, I'm watching what I did. You know, whether it was the content or a stream. And if I didn't capture somebody within the first 15 minutes, then I know it's not going to do well.
Right. Okay.
And
I'm sorry. I'm
9 times out of 10, I'm right. So, but if I did something good in the first 15 minutes, then usually the watch time is longer, the amount of views is longer, the amount of likes is longer, you know, or higher. You know, everything is there. Now, so, I'm not saying, you know, after 15 minutes, just ignore everything. No, you have to keep it up. But I'm saying for myself, I watch the first 15 minutes. Mm-hmm. And I'll do that to other streamers too. On purpose, I'll watch the first 15 minutes to see what they did compared to what I did. And did I like mine better, or did I like theirs better?
Now, that was a question I was going to ask Deuce. Do you watch other content creators to see how well they're doing in comparison to yourself over the same time frame that you've been streaming? Like, do you know, actively go out there and go, okay, well, this particular person's started around the same time as I did, but what did they do that did differently that, you know, they're either larger or smaller?
Man, I got to tell you, and I'm going to call him by name because I feel like he's put in a lot of work, and he can't stream because of his internet, but he makes content, and he makes great content. But he still has, you know, 1,200 less subscribers than I do, and it's Peanut.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Peanut makes fantastic content, and I am freaking jealous of how good Peanut's content. I'm not gonna lie, man. Like when I watch his content, I'm just going, dude, why can't I make content this good? You know, like to me, and he's got less subscribers than I do. Only, and this is another thing to take into consideration for the conversation earlier about the starting out as a content creator and being where we're at, right? We're not people that's talking to you from the top tier, right? We're not 200,000-300,000 subscribers and trying to tell you what to do for your stream. We're here right now doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So from my standpoint, looking at Peanut with just a 1,000 less subscribers than I have, I think he makes 100,000 subscriber level content.
Easily.
Like, I really do.
Easily.
I really do. Or more. Yeah.
Easily.
And he doesn't just play one game. He sticks to a genre and subgenre of games, right? He sticks to that algorithm favoring, right? Mm-hmm. But he plays stuff that he enjoys, and you can tell it. He enjoys the content that he makes. Not that I don't. Not that Gargoyle doesn't, or Bone, or Mike doesn't. But for me, when I watch content creators, I get in my own head a little bit, and I don't think I've ever actually talked about this on stream, so this might be actually new for some people. But I get in my own head a lot about the quality of my content. I'm never happy with it ever. Not one time have I ever made a video that I've been like, yeah, that was the video. You know what I mean? Not one time. Because I always have higher expectations for myself. Even though I play it off, I'm the dumb hick, from Mississippi, whatever. My name's Bubba. But I mean, that's me. Don't get me wrong. That's 100% me. But I still have higher expectations for myself. It's not like I just hit go live every day and start talking. I mean, I want to put out good content that people enjoy that makes a difference in one person's day. That's what I always tell people, right? I want to make it. If I can make a difference in one person's day, I've done my job, right? And that's what I want to do. But I never feel like it's good enough. I never feel like it's made a big enough difference in that one person's day, right? So for me, every time I watch somebody make content and I go back and watch theirs, I'm going, man, why didn't I make my content that good? So yeah, every time I load up somebody's video or live stream or whatever, I'm going, man, I wish I could be that good at what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and yeah, call it envy, call it coveting, whatever you want to call it. I mean, it's true though. I mean, it's me knowing that I'm not where I want to be, even though it's probably the best I can do, right? But I don't have to accept that it's the best that I can do. I can only strive to be better, and I think that's the biggest part for me is it might be the best that I can do, right? This might be the best I'm ever at content creating, but that doesn't mean I have to accept it.
Exactly.
Like, you know what I mean? Like the crap that I put out, and I say that because it's Outhouse and all, Deuce and but the crap that I put out, it may not be the best content out there. It's definitely not the best content out there. There are many content creators with way less numbers than I have. What I was going to say a minute ago, I might add that the only reason I have those numbers is because a couple of games gave me a huge boost in numbers. All right, if you come to one of my live streams and you see how many people are there, it's not 8,000. You know what I mean? Like it's a couple of games. People like those games, and like Bone said earlier, perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with loving a content creator for one game and one game only, and only showing up to those videos or those streams. Nothing wrong with that at all.
Exactly.
I do it.
Yeah.
Gargoyle does it. Bone does it. Mike does it. I mean, I don't know. I'm just speaking for him now. But
No, I totally agree. Yep. No.
But yeah. So when I watch content, I mean, that's my mindset is I need to do better. You know what I mean? No matter who it is, Mike, Bone, Gargoyle. When I watch their content, I'm going, I wish I could interact with my chat like that, or I wish I could tell stories like that. You know what I mean? Or I wish I could come up with that idea. Like it's one thing or the other. Like we've all got our own different subsets, and I honestly I don't know what mine is. Like I'm good at chopping trees down. If you want to come watch trees, come on.
Play to your strengths. He wields a wild axe.
Man, I can chop some trees like nobody.
No matter the game.
Sorry, I kind of went off on a rant tangent there, but I don't think I've ever actually expressed that in any of my live streams to anybody in my community. Probably not even you guys, but that's the way I feel, man. I've never made a video that I've been like, yeah, that was a good video. Never.
Yeah, that's why I asked, because to me, I do watch other people. Now, I try not to copycat by any means. You know what I mean? It's like, but I wish to watch to see like, oh, that's catchy. Oh, okay. That really works. You know what I mean? Like that's what got me interested in something. And it's like, okay, cool. But at the same time, I might only be there for just one season. You know what I mean? You know, and the really big content creators, I mean, you don't even really get a season out of them anymore. They're, a lot of the bigger ones are doing, 3 to 5 videos of some games with they're really good, and then they're on to the next. I'm not finding that, there's the, like once you reach a certain point, you kind of change your format.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, you have to, right?
Yeah, because you want to keep people interested.
Well, I say you have to, but I mean, people so there are some farm sim streamers out there and content creators like Daggerwin. He only does farm sim, but he plays role play, survival based single player farm sim.
Mm-hmm.
So he's always got a complete story written out. He does his videos. Well, not always. I mean, he's got freeform videos too, where he just plays and enjoys it or whatever. But I mean, his RP stuff is really big though. People love it, but he only does farm sim. So, I mean, he didn't change his format. He's doing the same thing he's always done. He just included the RP in it, which he kind of did, but he actually took it to another level. I don't know if he changed. I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe, I mean, is that changing the format?
I'd say it's changing the format.
Okay. All right. I was just thinking he adapted and elevated his content, not necessarily changed the format, but he elevated it to another level. I mean, he really took it to another level.
Oh, by all means.
Yeah.
And, I hope that I've been able to do the same since, YouTube became a source of income. That's something else to think about. Like when do you start putting in, harder work in educating yourself on becoming better with the materials that we do have at our fingertips? When do you start investing in new equipment? Like Bone, when did you go from your first microphone to, what you have today?
Probably about 6 months in.
Mike, how long did it take before you ended up, going from one to the other?
Well, I was using a headset mic for the first several years, and then
that's what I used.
Recently, I purchased the Elgato setup, the Wave 3.
And, using that Elgato setup and that, have you noticed a difference in...
Oh, yeah.
In the people coming in as for unique views? Or has it been you're getting more of a response from the community that has been built up around you? Like, are you finding an influx of new, or are you finding that, the community is more engaged because all of a sudden you have that much better sound?
I would say that I'm getting an influx of new.
So it does.
Because it doesn't sound like this anymore.
This is true.
Mhm.
Hey,
Well,
you
I
were
don't-
saying there
it
was
did-
nothing wrong with my content. Hey, now. No.
I was about to say, not that that's that was your issue with the mic.
No.
Yours sounded good, actually. I didn't realize it was a headset mic. I'm not gonna
Mhm.
lie. Yeah, I had no idea. But what I'm saying is, like, Gargoyle's pointing out that those upgrades are semi-important, but you don't want to rush them. You don't want to spend
Right.
money on something that's not going to be successful. So
Well,
Right.
also,
if you don't have it, so
this goes back to what you said, Deuce. Knowing your hardware, knowing your software, you
Right.
can make a headset mic sound good.
that's true. Yeah, absolutely.
You have to know your filters, and you have to know how to tweak your stuff and listen to yourself, record yourself, play it back. How do I sound? Type of thing. There's tons of things you can do to make a cheap mic sound really good.
Right. And I said something about the gain earlier. I don't think I stressed it enough though. That's the number one problem that people have with like straight mics, right? The headset, USB, just straight in, no software, no consoles, no mixing, no outboard, soundboard, nothing like that. Go to your Windows settings, go to your sound control panel, go to advanced settings, go to your recording, click on levels, and turn that junk down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you got to do.
So they don't sound like this. I don't know. Am I doing this right?
Exactly.
Yeah, and I struggled with that because of the original equipment that I had for the longest time. I had the Blue Yetis. I burned through two of them. Literally burned through two of them. They short circuited into my head a couple times. It wasn't very nice. But I mean, I did over 7 years with those models. And even though I was playing it back, it took a long time for software to come out to start making it better. Today we have a lot more stuff available, so there's a lot more to educate yourself on, but there's a lot more stuff available. I find that if I review my work and going, what the heck, I sounded like that. My best video on my channel, I sound like I'm in the back of a hangar behind a plane in front of a curtain. And that's the one that has my most views on YouTube. Like, what a great face to put out to the public. But at the same time,
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's exactly right.
Curious.
Yeah.
Was that one of your car mechanic simulator videos?
That is exactly it. Bring me more views. You guys can check it out to see the difference between what it was like when I first started, doing content creation on YouTube compared to where I am today. Now, right now, it's kind of an unfair advantage because I have been very, very, very lucky to upgrade to I would say, a decent mid-level professional setup. And
So Gargoyle's 100% right here, because this is the same microphone turned up about 400 times. And I'm about a distance away that you would have if you were on camera and you didn't want your mic in the frame. Right? This is where I would have my camera if I didn't want my mic in the frame of my camera, sitting at my desk with my keyboard. The difference in this, I can't hear I don't have my monitor on right now, but I can't hear what I sound like, but I can just tell you the difference in this from what you heard a second ago has got to be drastic.
The room sound is unbelievable. I can hear you bouncing off your screens. I can hear it coming from behind you. And that's stuff that you need to educate yourself in as new creators. And it won't come right away. It is something that will take time.
People need to learn that and not all people, right? I mean, some people have microphones and they've got it dialed in and they can have their mic out of the way and it still sounds great. Right?
It's important to learn what
It's important to learn though. Yeah, exactly. So I keep my mic about 4 inches from my face, if that, maybe 3. I mean, I'm almost eating my microphone 90% of the time. And honestly, with any microphone, no matter how good a quality, if you spent $6,000 on a Neumann or something, I mean, it wouldn't matter. Like, you want as little air between you and the mic as possible for the most part to get a good, solid, straight audio sound. I mean, you're not mastering anything here, but you can take a $150 mic. I have the same setup as AO Mike does and make it sound good. Before that, I had the same mic as Bone did. So, I mean, Bone sounds amazing. Sounds like he's got a full-blown mixer and everything set next to him. That's just mic technique is all it is. Like, I think people can benefit a lot from that. New new, old, whatever. Like I've heard people that have been doing this for years and they sound like crap, and I don't want to tell them. I don't want to be mean about it. I don't want it to sound like it's coming across as mean. I'm like, man, just turn your gain down a little bit and get closer to your microphone. That solves a lot of problems right there. So, but anyway, I just wanted to turn my gain up and point it out like Mike did. I just wanted to be like him.
The closeness of the mic I think is very important. I mean, you look at any singer and how when they're singing a song and when they're holding a mic, look at how they hold it. The way I was taught with a mic was picture the mic as a hamburger and I'm about to eat it. That's how close you want that mic to your face.
You cannot smoke.
You're not eating it yet, but you're
yeah.
about to eat it.
Right.
Yeah. There's, not even a distance of a cigarette away. If you were a smoker, you're going to have to turn with your head way off to the side and speak into the mic off the side in order to do it. Because you need to be that close. You would burn your pop filter or your windscreen by doing that. I can't agree more that, getting up on your microphone is important, but you don't want to be hearing yourself breathe all the time. You want to have it at a comfortable distance that you're using your pop filters correctly, so you're not got plosives and I don't do it nearly as good as some people can, but the
plosives and P's pop when you speak.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. So mine still does it too, even with the Elgato windscreen, the pop filter or whatever with it. I mean, you still get my plosives in there, but it's not near as bad as if I took it off. Right, it still filters out some of it. But yeah, I mean, I think for a lot of if anybody that's big that's watching this, they're going, listen to these idiots. You know what I mean? Like you have to understand, we're talking to people that are our level, that are just haven't upgraded or may not have dialed in yet. It's like we're not trying to talk to the whole world about their audio quality. Just the people that are going, man, why can't I get people to stay in my, stay watching my videos or my streams or whatever? And sometimes it's your audio, and that's a good place to start. Turn it down, get it closer, good to go.
Mm-hmm. And so then on the video side of things, so if you're live streaming or doing content creation, you're going to have some sort of software to capture that. Now, there's, the two big ones out there that I can think of are OBS Studio Standalone and Streamlabs, which incorporates OBS. So there's also some other brands that are out there, and all of a sudden their names have just completely slipped by me, but there are some that are free.
I'm pulling up Google now.
It's XSplit is one.
That's it, XSplit. Yeah,
And oh gosh, can't remember what one. There's several of them.
Mm-hmm. So, if they have, like for me, the best thing that I ever could do, especially for when we're doing these group chats to try to make sure that everybody's around the same levels, is pay attention to the equalizer. If you have an equalizer, I think that is probably one of the best ways that you can do to physically look and see if you are equalized. Now, like when you're doing, like for us, when we do our games, we do our sound checks before. We put some extra care into it. So that way, when, we go off to do our streams together on Friday nights, we are, starting the weekend off right for everyone, where they're not going, oh, I can't hear so-and-so, in one person's stream, we try to catch ahead of it, not be proactive, not reactive, I guess I would say, for things along those lines.
We try.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we do the best we can to make quality content that people want to watch. I mean, because we are us, right? We're none of it. I'm not playing a character when you're watching my stream. I don't feel like Gargoyle's playing a character. I mean, you do the skits and stuff where if you're playing Construction Simulator, you used to wear the hard hat and the vest and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's great for visuals, but I don't use a camera most of the time, because for me, I feel like I'm just putting myself on the screen and it interrupts some of the viewing. You know what I mean? But
I love Halloween, dude. That's where they all.
Yeah, I was going to say, most people like using a camera though, and there's nothing wrong with that either way. But Harris Heller said it. I think he said it the best. 90% of the people that have made it are using a camera, right?
Oh, exactly.
Lyric is one of those people that has never put a camera on his Twitch stream, but he's very successful, and everybody loves Lyric. I love Lyric, man. Lyric's just great all the way around. I just don't watch Twitch that much anymore. I watch YouTube most of the time. But Shroud, on the other hand, is one of those people that's always used a camera, but he's never done anything special. He's just Mike. He's just Shroud. Dr. Disrespect, on the other hand, whole character. But
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, like you do the dress up stuff, right? For whatever game you're playing.
Yep.
I don't use a camera. Bone used to use a camera, but he's just him, right?
Mhm.
Mike's just him. Like we're not characters, but we do the best we can.
Mhm.
So I mean, and that starts at the base. So
Now, for settings wise, would you say it's more important to look at your computer to see what it's capable of doing? Or would you say it's more about trying to give yourself the best picture and that all the time, really going in, trying to, minimize what you actually use on your computer in the background just so you can push that extra mile? Or do you think it's better to let the system run smoother? What are the pros and cons of doing something like that? Like on, having somebody who's like trying to do it from a laptop and they're going to have to do it at, 526 instead of, or whatever it is to, 1080p or even HD. Like for me, I cannot push HD on my system without it. I would think that I would start running it hot and I don't want to wreck my system over that. Is there a benefit, do you think, as much as audio as there is to video when people come into the screen, even though I know you're a sound man?
for me,
Yeah. Like, I mean, like,
I would say that 90% of the time if I'm watching content, like Bone of course streams in my afternoon, right? So I'm usually done and I'm doing dinner, so I've got Bone on my phone, right? And on a phone you can watch in 480p and it looks crystal clear. So I mean, I think people that are pushing for like 4K, on YouTube streaming or Twitch streaming or whatever, I think it's a bit overkill, honestly, because a lot of people still don't have good enough quality internet, or they're watching on Wi-Fi, so they're not going to watch your video at that level anyway. They're going to drop it down in the transcoding, so they're going to go to the settings and go whoop 480p. So I mean, you're giving people a good quality playback, but I honestly believe that a good solid 720, which is not even considered HD anymore, or a 1080 would be fine. You know what I mean? Like I feel like a 720p is fine. Like I don't feel like you have to have the best and 4K 1440p video. I don't feel like that's important. I feel like, well, I mean, of course I'm a sound guy, so I'm gonna be biased towards audio, but I feel like the mic quality is way more important, especially if you don't use a camera, right? If you use a camera, then both matter, or at least have really good camera quality, right? And decent mic quality. But if you only have a mic, make sure you have good. Dude, the first videos I did with Pace, we were playing Minecraft. I was using one of those like $20 stick USB mics that sat on your desk.
Been there, done that.
And,
Yep.
and it sounded like my mic a minute ago when I moved it away from me. It sounded way worse than that actually. It was way
Super tinny.
I'm glad it's not on my channel. I'll say that. I'm glad that content's not on my channel. So but I feel like the video is important, but a lot of people watch on tablets and phones, so it's not, but if people are watching on TVs though, you gotta be careful because a lot of people are watching on TVs as well now. So I say now, I mean, they've been doing, back in my day, we watched on our iPods.
Back in my day, we had 3 channels.
Can you buy a DVD player without Wi-Fi? Like, I mean, our DVD players have Wi-Fi. I mean, I can watch.
I didn't know they still made those.
Netflix.
Honestly.
Well, Blu-rays. Sorry, Blu-rays.
Blu-rays.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I'm showing my age here. Yeah, got another white hair popping in. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, just my opinion. Last thought on that. I don't think it's as important as some people stress it to be. But you want to have good, crystal clear video, and if you're doing live streams, then you want to make a second channel that you will never put out and make unlisted. Or if you're on Twitch, just make a second channel and don't put anything in the title. Just leave it blank. Don't worry about it. And test and test and test and test and go through settings. And don't start everything at max. Start everything at minimum and work your way up to something your computer can handle, plus a good clear stream. Doesn't have to be top quality, but make it a good crystal clear stream. That's all you want. But start low and move every setting one at a time and go up and see where you land. Use no more than half of your upload speed, and I think that pretty much covers like my input on that part. So
what about you, Bone?
And to add on to that, I come more from a visual background than Deuce does. But I have
he's going to be biased on the video.
Yeah.
No, I have to agree. To me, sound is important. Like I come from a theater background. And if I'm on stage and I'm performing, that guy in the back row has to be able to hear me. He might not be able to see me clearly, but he has to be able to hear me clearly. So I agree. I think, yes, drop the settings on the video, amplify the audio to where it still sounds good, of course. And yeah, I mean, if you have to start all the way down at 120p and, you work your way up to where you get that nice comfort zone for your computer versus your output, then yeah, that is your happy zone with your capability. Now, if you're capable of doing, a 1080 or even a 4K, then, yes, go ahead and do that if you have the capability of doing it. There's nothing against that because, yeah, people are watching us now on bigger screens. They're watching us on TVs and stuff like that. So, but again, audio, I think, is more important than video. So I think even if a person has an 8K TV, I think they're fine watching a 720p stream. I really do. So if they're engaged and they can hear you clearly, and 720 is still a good picture.
Yep.
So
Yep,
I don't think anyone would have any problem with it. I don't think anyone would want to watch a video at 4K, but it sounds bad. But again, there is those people that have been around longer than us who have all those people and still have the crap audio, like we like to say. So,
yeah, I mean, again, I don't want anybody to get the wrong idea. I'm not hating on people because I know sometimes it's all they can do, right?
Right.
I'm broke too. I know the feeling. I've been broke my whole life. I know that sometimes that's all you can do, and there's nothing wrong with that. But come on, man. I know some of you guys with 50, 60,000 subscribers can afford a better microphone. Do better.
Yeah.
I totally agree. If you're going to put the time and work into it, give something back to them. You know what I mean? If you do have a pretty bad mic and you're doing your review, I think that, by the time, like you say, you hit 50,000 subscribers, unless, your 50,000 have been botted in, I'm pretty sure at that point that, it would be a good time to invest in some things, like Mike, I know you just got, a new beast computer and everything else. I mean, have you thought about, entering the market of 4K? Is your system capable of that?
Do you not remember all of my Cyberpunk streams?
Yeah, he's done a lot of 4K.
Did you?
Yeah,
Okay.
I've done a lot of 4K on my channel with this computer.
Yeah. So
It's a beast.
So did you, in your analytics then, tying into, knowing where our stats are and how to read them, did you see any increase in TV viewing time?
I honestly did not.
So,
But of course, I was a lot smaller. I was just like 150 subscribers at that point in time, too.
That
Maybe
kind of makes a
200.
difference.
Yeah, that
'cause
makes a hell of a difference.
Yeah, if you get 50, 60 people watching your videos, right, over time, right, not at the time of stream or time of release, but over time, you should see at least one or two of those people watching on consoles, which they'll be on TV. So I mean, yeah, I mean that makes a huge difference, I guess. Time period.
So that leads me to one of the final things I was going to say. What do you guys think about console streamers and the quality of mics and everything else that they get from that? Are they at a disadvantage trying to import over onto, through Twitch? Because I think that's about the only thing they can do now other than having an Elgato card to bring into a PC to stream.
I think, I'm just butting in here, but I think if they're going to stream from a console, they need to have a capture card. That's my opinion.
So you think they need to run through a computer?
Can you not just run it through? I'm not sure how it works, but I thought you could just run it from the console to the TV to convert it, or does it have to be run through a computer?
No, if you use a capture, you have to run it through a computer.
Yeah.
Yep.
The capture card is attached to the computer, is how it works.
Well, see, I learned something new today.
Yeah. So
that's why we do these.
Yeah, exactly. Out of all of us, I think you've probably been around the least amount for the length of time that you've been putting out content. And so it just shows that, we are always learning. For where we're at today, we didn't stop learning from the very first when we first came through. It's been a time-long process. I've seen so many people come and go in the first 90 days because they got into it to, do it for being, I want the fame, look at what I can do. And then they just are totally disheartened when they haven't done anything to help better themselves. You can tell they're not reviewing the channel because things are just horrible, and there's no differences. You know what I mean? You can't see anything where they tried and it got worse, or it tried and got better. They just keep doing the same thing every day and expecting a different result. It's a definition of insanity almost, and I can see why some of these people drop out in 90 days. Like you were saying there, Peanut, oh my God, his content is absolutely amazing. But before I would put him on my recommended channel, I would like to see people doing 90 days. Do you think using the things that we've covered tonight, the consistency, knowing your equipment, knowing what we have found to get where we're at today with that information, do you guys think that moving forward we're going to stop learning, or are we going to just keep on trying to do better and better and bring different forms of content in, but still keep it to what we are? You know what I mean? Like where we get our fun from, how everything is, got us to where we are, makes up for where we're going. You know what I mean?
I think that depends. I think that depends on the creator, on whether or not they are satisfied and what purpose they are streaming for.
That's a good answer.
If they're streaming just to stream, they have no reason to improve. If they're streaming to grow, then yes, I do believe you have to. You never stop learning. You can't. Mm-hmm. Or if you, I guess some people are scared to try new things, so that could be it too. I think it really depends on exactly what type of streamer you are or what you plan to be. To answer that question, anyways.
Yeah, no, that pretty much sums it all up into what I was thinking when it comes down to, for going into the reasons for it and always learning, like what are the differences between the two? So yeah, no, basically, you've summed it up to the point where it's like, okay, I can't add anything to that.
I can't. Believe it or not, I have nothing to say.
Yeah, no, you summed that up in just beautiful point format. Yeah. So from the Syndicate of Deuce, Bone, AO Mike 13, and GaminGargoyle, thank you so much for watching and sharing with your friends. We'll see you guys in part 2.